What is up, guys, and welcome back to another Grimlock video. Today we're going to be going over the beginning to getting into PvP in World of Warcraft. And I know a lot of people are doomers about Season 2 of Dragonflight, or Dragonflight in general, but I actually think this expansion is a wonderful time to get into PvP. If you're planning on, just changing it up from PvEing, or you're a brand new player to WoW, this is a great expansion to get into PvP. And we're going to be going over the terminologies that you'll experience in PvP, from CC to DRs to Trinket and everything around that, revolving around anything you would hear if you watched the AWC and you're a first-time viewer and you have no clue what Supatees is saying, even though he's spinning it up like a rap god. We're going to be going over that in this video, so I hope you guys enjoy this, and we'll get into it soon. So like I said, this video is about basically the beginning of PvP, so I'm only going to go over a set few things. These are very important things, but they're things that you can work towards and get better at doing. So I'm going to start with crowd control. We're going to be going over diminishing returns, which refers to crowd control, and we're going to be just going over remembering that, at the core of the game, as a damage dealer, you're supposed to be doing damage, and as a healer, you're supposed to be healing. And that's like a massive part of PvPing, obviously. So just remembering all these core things and what to do to get better, and that's what we're going to be going over in this video. So to kick things off, I'm playing a priest in this video, so I'm just going to go over the priest crowd control abilities. We're going to start with crowd control in general. Basically, every class has the ability to control an opponent through some form of ability or spell that's causing them to stop casting, or not be able to move their character, or just not be able to play the game at all, really. So for Priest, for instance, we have Psychic Scream, which is a fear effect. This causes the person to completely lose control of their character. They can't actually move. They can't move on their own. Their character runs away from you. They can't act, so they can't cast any spells, and they can't actually do any damage while they're feared. Anything like that, they can't do. So Psychic Scream is a wonderful crowd control. We also have Silence as a Shadow Priest. What Silence does is it basically prevents the target from casting any spell for 4 seconds. So this goes for any spell in the game, whether it's a heal, a damage effect, anything like that. And then we also have a stun called Psychic Horror, and this stuns the target for 4 seconds. So when you have crowd control abilities like this, and you're dealing damage to an enemy, and you don't want that enemy to get healed, you might cast Silence, for instance, or your Psychic Horror on a healer to prevent them from casting any ability at all. I know this sounds super basic at its core, but when you apply it in an arena setting, it actually takes some practice to get down so that you don't overlap things like this, so you don't accidentally silence and fear at the same time. You want to make sure you're spacing out your crowd control so it lasts the longest amount of time, so they don't play the game for the longest amount of time. And this will force cooldowns from them and make them play a lot more defensive, and you'll be able to gain momentum that way in the arena. So the way World of Warcraft balances out crowd control in their game is they implement something called Diminishing Returns, or DRs. And basically what DRs do is they prevent you from being permanently stuck in crowd control. So for instance, as a priest, our Psychic Scream is a fear effect. It's also a disorient. So anything that disorients or fears somebody is going to diminishing return with Psychic Scream for up to 20 seconds. So if we Psychic Scream somebody, it's going to last the full 8 seconds. And then if somebody fears them and their fear is supposed to last 8 seconds, it's only going to last 4, and then 2 seconds, and then the target's going to be immune to that crowd control completely. Same thing goes for our Silence and our Stun. So if we stun somebody for 4 seconds with our Psychic Horror, for instance, as a Shadow Priest, a rogue that's going to kidney shot for 7 seconds maybe, or 6 seconds, or 5 seconds, it's going to last half that amount of time. So you have to be very mindful about when you're throwing out these crowd controls so that you're not ruining your teammates' setups or anything like that. Also, you want to make sure you're not casting something into a diminishing return that you're not intending to. So if you mean to get a full fear off, and you have a teammate that's a warlock, and that warlock casts a fear on the healer, and you go to fear them at the same time, you're going to diminishing return your fear, and now you're going to be down to a quarter of a fear the next diminishing return, and then every 20 seconds that resets. So coming back up, in 20 seconds, your next fear will be full again. And that's how basically World of Warcraft orientates balancing everybody's abilities. Now, to avoid any diminishing return, for Shadow Priest specifically, or for Priest in general, your Psychic Scream is a 30-second cooldown. So if you're the only person on your team with a Disorient or a Fear effect, you'll never have to worry about your Psychic Scream being diminishing returned. So when you go to cast Fear, it's 30-second cooldown, and they'll get feared for 8 seconds, and then once it comes off cooldown, it'll be already off diminishing returns, because like I said, diminishing returns only last 20 seconds. So I know this is a lot of information, but just take into account for what you're casting. So for mages, for instance, you have an ability called Polymorph or Ring of Frost. Both of those abilities are considered incapacitates, and so anytime a target gets incapacitated, so a rogue that saps, or a Windwalker monk, or a monk in general that paralyzes, that's an incapacitate. And so that's going to diminishing return your polymorph to be half of that, and etc. The list goes on. There's a bunch of crowd control abilities in the game, but that's basically the idea behind diminishing returns in general. The next thing we're going to be talking about World of Warcraft PvP is depending on kind of what type of PvP you plan on doing. If you plan on doing random battlegrounds or epic battlegrounds, or if you plan on doing rated battlegrounds even, you might not need this step, but it is super crucial that if you play arenas like skirmishes or actual rated arenas like 2v2, solo shuffle, and 3v3, that you have a way to target enemies. So I actually use macros for this, but nowadays you can actually keybind it. But under key bindings in the options menu, you can target arena 1, target arena 2, and target arena 3. Now what this, it has all the way up to 5. There's no 5v5 in the game anymore, but you can war game 5v5s, by the way. But yeah, you basically want to keybind 1, 2, and 3 so that you're able to target your enemies without having to tab target or click them. Now this is super crucial if you're a caster. If you're a melee DPS, you can tab target a little bit. It's not the end of the world. I know professional players like Peekaboo and some other rogue players actually tab target quite a bit in order to get some cheeky setups and stuff like that. But realistically, you're going to want to have these target macro or target keybinds, and you're also going to want to have your focus keybinds, so focus 1, focus 2, and focus 3. Now, to begin in PvP, it's perfectly okay if you just have target 1, target 2, and target 3, but getting more and more in depth in PvP, you're going to want to have these focus macros, because what focusing people allows you to do is it allows you to have multiple frames. So say I'm targeting an enemy and I want to see what the healer is doing at the same time. I can set the healer as my focus, and it'll show me all their buffs. It shows me what abilities they're casting, everything at the same time. This also allows me to create specific macros to target at my focus, but that's pretty advanced stuff, so we're going to talk about that in probably another video. Like I said, guys, this is just a beginning video, so if you're brand new to PvP, or you want to step into it, or you're a brand new player, this is the video for you. And then scroll all the way down here. There's a ability here called Focus Target. Now, or not ability, a keybind, Focus Target. This is what allows you to, so say I'm targeting somebody, this allows you to just focus them. Just by targeting them, you click the keybind, allows you to focus them. So this is super good in battlegrounds because you're not going to be able to arena target people other than flag carriers, and so but being able to just set a healer randomly onto your focus and then tab back to your actual enemy is super good, because you'll be able to crowd control the healer just like you would in an arena, but you'll be in a battleground instead. So having a focus target button or macro like I do is super good, super crucial. But that's about it for targeting. You just have to get very comfortable with your target macros. It's going to take some time because you're going to be super used to tab targeting and super used to click targeting, just like you were in PvE, or if you're in, you know, a dungeon or you just got done leveling. Most people are used to tab targeting. It's completely normal. I used to tab target all the time when I was fresh in the game, but I'm completely comfortable with my target keybinds. Still, sometimes, depending on what I'm fighting, I still click target, because sometimes it's just easier. Sometimes I'll tab target. You know, versus shamans, I'll click target their totems. There's no way around that, really. You have to click target them, or at least as far as I'm aware. So yeah, just get comfortable with targeting keybinds. This will make the game overall a lot easier for you, because you'll be able to focus on attacking and crowd controlling the targets you want to be targeting at all times. Now, I know some of you are going to watch this video and think to yourself, why would I want to get into PvP anyways? And, you know, if that's a question in your mind, obviously, you're just thinking, well, maybe you just want some competitive side to it outside of mythic dungeons, stuff like that. There's also collectibles you can get from PvP. There's special mounts you can get from PvP, like this vicious saber tooth, also like these other vicious mounts here that are completely unique to PvP. There's also gladiator mounts if you get good enough at the game. You know, there's elite sets, for instance, like my priest set here. This set is completely unique to being 1800 plus in any of the rated brackets in PvP this season for priest. There's also special weapon illusion enchants. So there's a bunch of cosmetics you guys can get in PvP specifically to make your character look cool and to show off to your friends. Kind of just bragging rights in general. It's a lot of fun, and realistically, there's no downside to it. It's just an extra thing to do in World of Warcraft. There's a bunch of things to do already, so I completely get if you didn't want to, but probably if you're landing on this video, you're looking into it a little bit, so this is your intro to it. There's really not much else to say about PvP in general for beginners, but there is a lot more in-depth guide to it. If you want to check out my other videos, I go over individual class guides. I'm going to be bringing out more videos about, you know, what to do at certain specific ratings in Arena. So if you get to say 1100 and you want to know how to push to 1200, or if you want to go from 1500 all the way to 2K, what to do in those brackets. So I'm going to be going over those in future videos most likely, and overall just trying to rebuild or build the community that PvP resides on. I think a lot of the doom and gloom of you know, a lot of top streamers and content creators saying, you know, PvP this, PvP that about MMR and etc., which I completely agree with as well, but it's kind of killing the PvP community because people are turned away from it. And really, at the core of the game, we're supposed to be having fun and just enjoying ourselves. So get out there and just start PvPing. I mean, it is a bunch of fun still. Get a bunch of friends, you know. You want to get another friend, do some 2v2s. It doesn't matter if you're high rated or not. As long as you're enjoying the game and having fun, it's still something to do. So yeah, if you enjoy this type of video, please feel free to leave a like, drop a sub. I would love that. It would be awesome to have you a part of the Grimlock community. Also, I have a Discord I'm going to link in the video right now, and it'll be linked in the description below if you want to join that Discord. I do plan on opening up some more social media soon, maybe a Twitter, maybe even doing some Twitch, maybe doing some streaming. See what you guys think about that. Who knows? But that would be pretty easy to make content off of because I can just pull clips from there and post it onto YouTube. Maybe I'll just stream on YouTube. Who knows? But there's endless avenues. But either way, I just want to grow PvP as a community. I love PvP, and I would hate to see World of Warcraft PvP die to people not playing it when it really is quite enjoyable, this expansion. So again, I hope to see you guys in the arena, and I'll see you guys soon. Peace. I can't do anything. Block. I can't get it off either. Nice, nice, nice. Yo, can we go? Can we go on priest?
Yeah, we can.
Can we go priest? God,